This is E-Commerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward Unlimited. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 83. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso
and Paul Chu.
So in today's episode, we're going to talk about a meeting that we had last week, the end of last week, about a new website.
A meeting?
A meeting.
Oh, okay.
We had
Sound like you said meaning.
a meeting.
Meaningful meaning.
Yeah.
We got these
Meaningful
headphones, and you still can't hear.
No. You're just like you're very yeah. Like you your words are like mishmash. You don't speak clearly.
It's coming right at you.
Yeah, really.
Right off
Start
the
off
bat.
It's not clear.
I am a professional broadcaster, Jason.
sure you are.
You know that by now.
Yeah, you mumble. That was the word I'm looking for.
Mumble.
Thank you for your criticism this early
Right.
in the podcast. I appreciate it.
Right.
So we're going to talk about a meeting that we had, and there were some key points that I think can relate with the other things we talk about and websites and things. But before we get into that, we want to talk about our sponsor, which is Klaviyo.
Yes.
And I'm actually wearing a Klaviyo shirt again today. I wore one last week. And this is one that they sent us because they're constantly...
You stole that from Dan.
I stole 2 shirts from Dan. Yes, not this one.
Oh, not that one?
I had this one. This was one of the originals. I stole the two that he got as well.
Right.
Because he's never going to wear them.
No. He doesn't even know that you took them.
But it's a cool shirt. It's got, what is it called? The phonetic pronunciation of the word, because everybody calls it Klaviyo when they first see
Including us.
Including us.
In the beginning.
And I've finally gotten over that hump where I do call it Klaviyo on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But it's Clay.
It's Clay.
V-O.
Now, we just got an email from a listener, which is pretty awesome. I mean, so when Klaviyo decided to sponsor the podcast, they said to us, look, we're going to do a 3-month trial. Because let's face it, we don't get, we're dealing with a B2B audience. As you guys who are listening know, you guys have businesses, most of you. And it's just a smaller crowd than, say, dating or golf or, one of these big markets. So we don't have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of downloads. But we are growing actually pretty quickly. It's funny. We've been doing this for 2 years, and this podcast is literally in the past 2 months or 3 months has been taken off, which is pretty awesome, thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
And so Klaviyo brought us on as like a 3-month trial, and we just got. By the way, Klaviyo, if you're not familiar with it, is an email marketing platform. And what I really like about the platform is as marketers, right? Like data is everything. And being able to put customers in different buckets of actions that they've taken, like the behavioral stuff is just amazing to me.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week, about using data in order to drive, your campaigns.
Or, just your actions.
Yeah.
Or how,
But even the data that Klaviyo provides in your email campaigns, it's so advanced that you can effectively use all that information to drive kind of a lot of your marketing, because there's not going to be any question about, ROI on your emails.
Yeah, because you see all the revenue that was generated from those specific, automations or campaigns. And I don't know if we mentioned this last time or not, but we're going to be at Klaviyo Boston, and we booked Ezra Firestone. Did we mention that?
We did.
Yes.
We did. Okay. He's going to be the keynote speaker at Klaviyo Boston. You could sign up to go to Klaviyo Boston at klaviyo.com/Boston. We have a special link that if you use to sign up for Klaviyo, we'll get basically credit that you found them through us, and that is ecommerceuncensored.com/email. It will redirect you to their website. You can get a free trial up to 250 contacts, and we would just appreciate it if you use that link because, it'll help them track sort of who's coming into their platform from where. Now, in addition to that, I've been offering 2 flows. So I'll set up 2 automations in your Klaviyo account if you use our link. All you have to do is email me, Jason at ecommerceuncensored.com. Just tell me the email that you use to sign up. You have to add me as an admin, and I'll go in there and I will create the flows. I cannot promise how long it's going to take me to do them because we're getting like so many coming in, and it's just like I have to do them, in between sort of the stuff that we're doing because, and it's just, it's not going to happen instantly. But we got an email this morning from Zach, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name. So I'm not even going to try.
He joined our Facebook group too, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Facebook group, ecommerceuncensored.com/Facebook. That'll redirect you to our group. Jump in there. Anyway, this guy basically said that Klaviyo, he spoke with them, and they're like stoked at the results they've been getting from our little podcast that, we're not one of the biggest players out there, but man, like it's awesome to hear that they're really excited with working with us because we have such a specific audience. So like, we may get, I don't know how, like I'm just taking a guess, but we may get better results than some of the bigger guys who aren't so specific.
Yeah, I think it's because our audience is very concentrated to what,
Klaviyo provides.
Yeah, what they're looking, the customer that they're looking to get. I mean,
Right.
we may not get like the huge lists to start, but I think Klaviyo really likes to get in early, show some results right away. So I think, because of you guys, the listeners that we have, it's so, like I said, concentrated with the right customer base for them. And I think that's why we've been so successful with it.
ecommerceuncensored.com/email. Okay, now let's move on.
I think we're getting all jumped. We have so many email links or so many links to give everybody.
There are.
I hope-
Well, look,
Facebook group.
I think people will decide which link to go to depending on their needs.
Right.
So we had a meeting the other day, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we typically try not to prejudge who we're going to meet with, but we do know the various industries and what these business owners can afford.
Well, it's a funny story because I got this phone call on Thursday, I think, or no, it was last Wednesday, and this woman called me, and she's a restaurant owner, right? And she called me up. She's like, I don't know if we're supposed to have a meeting tomorrow. I couldn't remember if it was today or tomorrow that we scheduled for it. I was like, I'm sorry, I have no idea who you are. She's like, I spoke to somebody, and I definitely scheduled a meeting. I was like, well, I knew he wouldn't. I knew Jason or Paul. The only other person that would have talked to her maybe would have been Dan. So I said, did you speak to Dan? I was like, oh. She was like, I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe that was him.
And we went there. She didn't even know.
And from that point on in the conversation, she started calling me Dan.
And it's funny because when we were there, she still didn't know if she made an appointment with us.
Yeah. That's the first thing I asked her when I got there. When I showed up, I was like, yeah, we're still trying to put our heads together and see who you actually spoke to schedule that first meeting. Because in the back of my head, I was like, man, I hope I didn't speak to her because then I'm really...
Well, it's very possible
And
because
you
you don't
forgot.
listen to anybody when they talk. Today, I told you like a whole story. You're like, oh, yeah, so you think we should do this? I'm like, did you listen to like any of my story that I just told you? And yeah, I did, but I... So,
Dude, it's really bad. Like, I was just outside. This happened to me just outside today. I was going to get the mail.
usually you'd fight me over this, but I think you're
No,
actually...
it's really bad, and it's getting worse. I went to go get the mail, and we had a flood in our building, but I met a guy outside who's in one of the businesses downstairs that got flooded, and he introduced himself, and immediately I forgot his name. So I went back at it. I was like, I'm sorry, what was your name again? And he told me, and like my head must have been somewhere else.
You forgot
because
again.
I had to come back and look at the website and see what his name was.
Oh my God.
That's how bad it is.
That is
I mean,
bad.
it's terrible.
Yeah, that is bad. And yeah, I mean, I can literally tell you something. It's like how you like deal with your wife. It's like she tells you something, you just yes, and then like. But I do it to my wife too, so I can't really say anything. She'll tell me, she's like, I just told you. I'm like, just tell me where to be when I have.
Well,
to,
it's really not about remembering. It's about listening, right? Like
Yes.
you don't remember the things if you're really not listening. Like,
Do
yeah,
you
you ask
do-
for someone's name.
Does
but
that
you're-
happen to you, Paul?
Yeah, it does. So it's not. You're definitely a little bit worse than some of
But
us.
I definitely have some kind of ADHD thing going on where it's just like I'm in another world, or I'm trying to think about what's going to happen next. It's really messed up.
It is. Now, let's move on.
Yeah. So
Okay,
to the
so we go
story.
to this meeting on Friday at this brand new restaurant, steakhouse. Place is beautiful. Okay. Now, you guys know that we try our best to bring our experiences and try to like give you guys some lessons on it, because that's really the only way we know how to operate. Right, like just making up some crap on here for an episode. I mean, we used to do that in the beginning, but now we're kind of like.
It was a little bit of a unique meeting too that we had, because we don't really get a lot of calls where people call up and they're like, "I need a website." It's really not a thing anymore. It's usually, a marketing at this point where we get to them at some point and we're like, "Well, maybe you should think about, changing this on your website," or we have to move a website away from another developer or something like that. But it's never really like, I wanted to see if you could redo my website right off the bat. Would you agree with that? Like, that's what it usually is.
Yeah, that's true.
Or it's somebody who comes in for photography and wants to get a website. So,
yeah,
it was a little bit of a unique meeting that we had. But like Jason said, we don't really predetermine whether it's going to be a client of ours or not, just based on what they are. I mean, right off the bat, it wouldn't seem like it was a good fit. A restaurant.
Yeah, we wanted to get lunch, so we just kind of like used it.
It wasn't far. It was like 5 minutes down the road.
Right. Anyway, so we get there, and we know that restaurants are working on tight budgets, and so we kind of go into the whole thing with her. Tell us what you do, what you're looking to do. Yada yada yada. And long story short, she's basically like, "Look, I need a new website," and we go look at the website on our phone.
Because I didn't even, like, when I was on the phone with her, another one of my problems, I didn't think to ask her what her website that she had, or even if she had a website. I didn't even know. So we went in there. We just kind of walked in there, the three of us, kind of like, okay, what's this going to be?
Well, on top of that, we didn't even bring cards with us.
We got to get better with that.
Yeah, well, we don't really leave this place very often. And if we do, it's like after they're a client.
Yeah, they already know our number.
You know what I mean? So we're not like programmed to bring, our business cards. Right. Anyway, so it was a pretty interesting conversation with her, because now that looking back, she went on this whole thing about like a website, blah, 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 and we try our best to be honest, because really, like, we don't want to really work with somebody that just may not be a right fit. So we're just like, look, we'd love to charge you for a website, right? Because
we said, a website like yours is going to be like $3,000, right?
Well, because she basically said to us, she's like, "I hate my website. I don't know that. I need a new website where people go find me. They got to go there, and I don't like the way it looks. I need pictures of like my food and all this other stuff." And we're like, "Wait, like, what are we trying to do here?" "Well, I'm new. I'm trying to get people in the door. Blah 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 blah." So, at the risk of actually losing that business, which we probably did, I basically said, "Look, instead of taking that $3,000 and putting it into a new website, because you already have a website, right? Why don't you take that $3,000 and put it into Facebook ads?" Now, she basically told us the $3,000 she has no problem with, but she can't afford our monthly retainer for Facebook ads. So we said, why don't we do this? Take that $3,000, let's put it into Facebook ads. We'll know pretty quickly how it's working. We can do some things to get people in the door. And then once you see that working, we'll have some money to then build a nicer website and spend more money advertising if she wished.
Yeah, because as I was, it's a really a classic misconception of what's going to happen when you redesign your website. And I saw how the conversation was going. I was like, wait, I just need to make this clear that if we redesign your website, it'll be beautiful, it'll be really nice, but that doesn't put $1 extra in your pocket.
At least not immediately.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and aside from that, like, she was like asking for all of our services without knowing it. She's like, "Yeah, well, I want to email. Do you guys do email?" And we're like, "Yeah." She's like, I want Facebook advertising. Do you guys do that?" "Yeah." "I want the website." "Yeah." And it's just, and I was just like, whoa. Let me just explain that we're a service-based business. All those things that you're mentioning are each a separate service. So let's, kind of just be aware of that. Long story short, I basically said to her, "Look, put it into Facebook ads." Like I said, we tell this to a lot of people. They don't listen. And I basically said that to her. I'm like, you're probably not going to listen to me. I said that, did I not?
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, you're probably not going to listen to me, but I'm going to give you the honest or our honest recommendation, whether we lose the business or not. And we probably are going to lose it, but
maybe not.
Well, you never know.
Well, I emailed her. Emailed her right after I got back, and I haven't heard back from her.
Right, so we lost the business.
So usually we like it, and it's a problem I had, and Jason kind of like worked with me on it. Is I would go into meetings like this, and I would push everything that we do, as opposed to this where we were like, no, like this is not right. Taking your $3,000 to do this website isn't the right thing for you.
Right, especially because she was a new business and she was just trying to like drum up business.
And her website, there was really nothing wrong with her website.
No,
but the only thing was like her menus were
the menus.
Yeah, the images weren't any good or it weren't great, which she basically told us. So what's the lesson in all this? I know we're like kind of blabbing about this, but we've talked about this in a previous podcast, in a previous episode, where we basically say, look, instead of spending time and money and energy into making your website look perfect, right? It's much better to take that money and spend it on trying to get customers. I say this a lot, and a lot of people like have their own opinions, and I say it and it goes in one ear right out the other because they obviously know better than we do. But I'll say to them, people don't go to your website, especially now in the age of mobile. They don't go to your website and say, let me look around here. Oh, no, the menu looks really nice. Oh, look at that logo. Look at that logo. I'm going to buy. That's not how people buy, right? If they're referred to the page, they're referred to the website from someone, obviously it's an easier sale. They're they may or may not be interested in exactly what you're selling. But 9 times out of 10, people are there for literally milliseconds, right? And processing the logo and all this other stuff when they're just there very quickly on their mobile device is not really how people buy. I mean, they look at a product. Do they need it? Is it going to solve a problem? Do they like the price? Yes or no? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and to go into like a big website design project to get something to the point where you think it looks pretty and you like it a lot and the images are nice, doesn't mean people are going to buy anything. I mean, with the way you can do things on web right now with landing pages, you can test all different kinds of layouts simply without doing a whole website redesign.
Yeah, I mean, and that's your time is much better spent. And that's basically what we said to her. We're like, look, let us get some people's asses in these seats, and then we can talk about making the website look pretty. I mean, it's a restaurant. Like, people aren't going to your, they go there for directions and maybe your menu.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like...
Well, it really comes down to return of investment. I mean, like you're saying, it's nice to have a good looking website and photos, especially as a restaurant, but what's going to give your money back faster? Like, you need advertising.
And we basically said people hire us for results, right? And that's our number one goal, right? Like, that's our number one responsibility is when you hand us a check, we have to give you something in return for that check. And usually that's, money, results, whatever. So we basically told her that, like, look, we'd love to take your $3,000. Like we would take it in a heartbeat. But we think that money is better spent on trying to get people in the door. And of course, she's not going to listen, but that's the truth. And for e-commerce store owners, like, I know the deal. When I started out in this business, I thought I was going to be, at that time, it was like 15 years ago, so, Amazon wasn't around, but I thought I was going to be like a billionaire website guy, by accident, like all these other people were. And, I realized that you can sit on a website and just procrastinate forever. And it's just a stalling thing, right? It's like a fear thing. Like, you just don't want to get the website out there, your product out there. So you just do whatever you can to say, oh, I can't do this because the color in my logo is a little darker. It looks different on this monitor. It looks different on that. And it's just a stalling tactic. Whereas if you take whatever money you have and invest it in things that are actually going to bring you money, vis-a-vis not a website, advertising.
Yeah. And I actually told her, I said, even if we'll take your $3,000 and we'll do this website, and then you decide, okay, now I need to make some money. I need to get some return on my investment. What am I going to do to some ads? I was like, we probably wouldn't send traffic to your website
Right.
from paid advertising. We would send it to a specific page with a specific offer that's not necessarily on your website for everyone to see.
Yeah, and we basically said to her, for that $3,000, not only will you get Facebook ads, we'll create the landing page that will present itself as your website. So now people are seeing a landing page designed specifically for the ad, which represents your website, instead of spending the $3,000 and then, as Kevin said, go into Facebook ads or whatever, any other kind of ads. It's like, for whatever reason, though, people just have it in their head a certain way, and they can't break from that. And anybody listening to this is like, speed. I talk about this a lot, and I learned this from a guy named Matt Fury. He's like a famous copywriter. He's like, money rewards speed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true.
Yeah, and I mean, for us in this certain situation, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll make $3,000, but like, is that really what we want? I mean, we want to get people results, and we want a long-term relationship. So does it even make sense for us to just do a website for somebody with the expectations that she had, that things were going to change for her and people are going to start walking in the door because of it?
I think, in addition to that, I felt like, and I don't know if you guys did, it would be a never-ending website, right? Like, that $3,000 for the website would have cost us 10.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way that looks. Move it over here. Move it over there.
People are very controlling when they want a new website.
Right, and most people don't know when the end is. Mm-hmm. Like, it's as though that money they've paid you, it's a forever thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, right? Like, we just can't continue to, Anyway, for those of you who may be stuck, because I'm sure there are people listening to us right now that feel this way, like, man, I've been procrastinating, and it's really fear, right? Like, grab some landing page software or some plugin on WordPress or whatever the hell you're using for your e-commerce platform, and just like create landing pages. Like, you can make them look any way you want. You can make it look like a multi-million-dollar, website. But that's where you should be investing your time. Invest your time in trying to take money from potential or from clients. Yeah. That's it.
I mean, even in our group, we've had some people post in our group about, can you please take a look at my website? Like, what do you think? How do you think it looks, or things like that? And then you're like, I usually give them my feedback, and I'm glad that they are sharing it, and I do give my recommendations. But in the end, I'm like, so what does your marketing look like? What are you doing there in that aspect? Because it's not something I could just see. And a lot of them really haven't gotten to that point, because I think, like you said, it's like they're going to wait to do marketing until their website is just perfect. And it's never going to be perfect, and it's never going to convert for every single person that
and
goes
it's
to your
going
website.
to evolve. I mean, what's more important is like the right headlines, the right descriptions, the right, how you're communicating to them, right? Like, yeah, like on a desktop computer, colors and all that kind of stuff portray a certain feel, but man, a lot of people are buying from their cell phones now, from their mobile phones, which is like really changing the game. I mean, it used to be everybody's shopping on a desktop and nobody was really shopping on a mobile phone. But I honestly, like, I go on Amazon, I'm like usually just on my phone, like, oh crap, I need this, go right to Amazon, boom, done, I leave. Amazon, like if you remember when Amazon first came out, and even like a long time after, it looked like a 5-year-old designed it.
Mm-hmm.
The logo was horrible, and it doesn't look much different now. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
They've paid attention to more detail,
but it's very simple,
and like I don't know, it doesn't look like anything that you need a professional to do,
right?
Yeah,
and But what is it? Fast shipping, and it used to be the cheapest prices. I mean, I think that's even questionable now. But you get it.
I mean, you could easily say that Amazon, when you actually shop on Amazon, it's very busy. Like, they have so many things going on. So I wouldn't say that their design is necessarily the best thing I've ever seen.
No, it's not. When I was looking at design, the company I would go to the most in the beginning was Zappos. Mm-hmm. When they're the one that came up with the 2-day shipping and free returns both ways. They're the first company that did that. And Amazon just kind of modeled that. But if you remember when Zappos first came out, they started that free shipping both ways. Free returns, free shipping. And I used to go to their website all the time and try to maybe it's like the blue that makes everybody buy. And it's like, not. It's like they have a product that people want. They ship it quickly, and there's no risk.
Yeah. Yeah, so you literally get like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes and not have to worry about whether they work or not. Whether they fit or whatever.
Whether they work. They basically, I don't know how closely you watch this, but when they first came out, they basically, and not basically, they did say, buy 2 or 3 sizes and just return the ones that don't fit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They buy 3 pairs of shoes, all 3 different, sizes, so that you're not waiting again. And then whatever you don't want, we'll pay for the shipping back.
That's one thing that I haven't done in a long time. Like, go to the store and try shoes on. Do you guys do that?
Well, beside the fact that you buy the same shoes every single time, so you don't need to.
And you know your size.
Right.
I'm a simple man.
Yeah, I really haven't either, even with clothes, because a lot of websites do that. This place, ASOS, it's free shipping there and back, and you have 2 months. So you try something on, it doesn't fit, you put it in the bag and send it back. Why would I go into a store? Just order different stuff, try them on.
Yeah, the only problem I have with shoes is Nike runs a certain way, Puma runs another way. You know,
they're all different.
They're all different, and I tend to not have any alliance to any shoes. I'll literally walk in the store and see something on the rack. It's, all right, I want it, and then I'll try them on and I leave. It's it used to be a 4-hour thing. Now it's I just buy something that I like the way it looks, and that's it. It's over with.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys good? Is that
that's good. That's all I got for you guys today, man. Stop procrastinating with the website. Drive traffic to a controlled landing page. You can make it look any way that you like. Put an add to cart button on it. If you want to test pink versus red versus blue versus yellow versus whatever, you can do that pretty simply. You can have multiple landing pages. You can A/B split test everything. Your number one goal as a business, as an e-commerce business, is to get people to buy your shit, period.
I don't think any of our campaigns right now actually go to any specific website product pages or category pages. I mean, we have retargeting ads that go to the product pages, but when we start a campaign, it's all from scratch.
Yeah,
the whole design of the page.
And some of our most successful campaigns that we're running on Facebook right now literally don't even look like the website. It's just a page with a logo at the top. It's really, that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Something you guys said a while ago, and you both always reiterate it, especially you probably, Jason, is that even if you have a good looking website, it doesn't matter if no one's going to it, if no one sees it.
Right.
So you could have $1 million website, but if no one sees it, it's worthless. So
right. That's exactly right.
Keep in mind.
I mean,
absolutely.
Makes much more sense to invest in getting people to the website and then, adjusting from there. Because you could sit on that damn website forever and never get anything going.
Absolutely. Did someone just knock on the door?
I think so.
Anyway.
It could have been construction.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Once again, I'll remind you guys that Klaviyo is having a marketing conference in Boston coming September 13th and 14th. And they're not just going to be talking about email, too. They're talking about Facebook, SEO, I believe Google Ads. So they got a whole thing in line for marketing.
Cool.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited. I can't wait to go there.
So you can head over to klaviyo.com/Boston to get your tickets for that event. And you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com. We'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
Bye.